Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the FP Journe Octa Automatique Reserve. You can see this 40mm automatic winding rose gold FP Journe and purchase it on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full listing for this watch with accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and of course complete pricing details for this FP Journe Octa. Now, released in 2001, the Octa series was FP Journe's first series of automatic watches, and in 40mm rose gold, this watch has far more wrist presence than the more common platinum variants of the same timepiece. Quite frankly, 40mm across the round of the case and 48mm from lug to lug equates to an outsized wrist presence and impact. You don't need an oversized watch to have oversized presence on your wrist. Colored gold has incredible power, and at only 10.5mm thick, this one has presence in all the right ways. Impressive stance, impressive character, but easily slides underneath a tight sleeve or dress cuff. Now, the watch does have a nice heft to it. Again, the larger of the formerly two FP Journe case sizes, 38 and 40, this one has a fair amount of gold in it. And an interesting note about that gold, prior to the opening of Boîtier and Cadronier de Genève, FP Journe actually had a Parisian manufacturer called Eleanor that he purchased himself in 2008. It eventually got folded into Cadronier and Boîtier, and you can see the French export stamps, the eagle's head, on this watch. The hallmarks include the International 750 Purity stamp, the Swiss Saint Bernard with a G stamped on it because Geneva is where the assay was done. And then right here you can actually see the maker's mark of Eleanor and the twin stamps of the French eagle's head. So it has the hallmarking stamps of France and Switzerland. Interesting little piece of trivia, pre-2012 FP Journe cases, and all in gold, beautifully finished. It has sensuous and complex lugs. They have tumble homes, so they slope off to the side, and then they have a beautiful arc that actually blends seamlessly into the step between the domed style bezel and the flank of the case, so it creates a strong belt line across the case, a strong horizontal character line that seems to suspend the watch over the wrist rather than simply sit. Now, the dial is all FP Journe, featuring a number of traditional and more avant-garde elements. Traditional in the sense that the combination of blued hands, silver base, the use of guilloche, a railroad track outboard, a sunken sub-seconds with its own inset railroad track. Very traditional, but here's where it becomes a little bit less traditional. FP Journe started his career as a pocket watch restoration specialist in his native France, and so the watch does bear some of the hallmarks of pocket watch manufacture, including the scattered complications across the dial, as pocket watch complications often were simply placed above the running gear that operated them. So you can see the off-center seconds, power reserve, and the double-digit date. Now, the watch features the interesting biomorphic Journe-style hands, so while the blue on silver may not be unique, the shape of the hands is very individual to the Journe manufacturer. Moreover, there's a great deal of subtlety. You can see those railroad tracks. You can see the sunken sub-seconds, the sunken power reserve, the smooth step from the plane of the dial down to the flush discs of the double-digit date. Flush double-digit dates are the hallmark of quality for that particular complication. And of course, Journe features stylized Arabic numerals, but you can see how they shrink and expand in order to clear the off-centered complications, a quirk that Journe does very well. Of course, there is a barleycorn clou de Paris about the center dial for additional visual differentiation, and you'll see that it mirrors the barleycorn guilloche on the rotor on the reverse of the case. Now, one of the nice features of this watch is that it does incorporate a quick set function for the date, and I'm going to just make sure we're out of the danger zone before I activate it. But the quick set function for the double-digit date is actuated in the second crown position, and it is exceptionally crisp and instantaneous. And yes, there is an instantaneous change at 12. It's not a slow roll. Now, moreover, the power reserve is conventional by Journe standards. You actually wind it in the first position flush to the case. Usually Journe watches wind in the second position. And the power reserve, you see, actually does tell you how much power you have in reserve. It's not one of his quirky power reserves that shows you the hours since winding. Now, on the case back, you can see the manufacturer caliber 1300.3, 37 jewels, all in 18 karat rose gold. You'll see a number of different finishing styles. Barleycorn engraving on the rotor, circular Côte de Genève across the bridges, and a tight and even perlage on the base plate beneath the balance. It is a free-sprung balance of immense inertia. It's 10.10, I believe, milligrams per centimeter squared, which is considered to be exceptionally large. And with a traditional 21,600 vibration per hour beat rate, the watch manages to parlay its immense mainspring into 5 days of power reserve at that rather reserved beat rate. Now, the watch has unidirectional winding via a very efficient unlubricated ceramic rotor bearing setup, so technology is present, but it's nicely hidden. It's unobtrusive. And Journe cleverly opens up, you can see the gap between the bridges and the balance, so you can more easily see the train carrying the power from the mainspring to the balance itself, and of course capped in the Geneva fashion. It's a unique standard of finish. It's not Baroque, it's handsome, but when you look at it closely, it does bear the original marks of the watch, or I should say the finisseur's file on all of the edges. They're not that blinding rounded polish that you see at the likes of Roger Dubuis or Vacheron or Patek. They're more of a vintage style, back when finish was designed to be workmanlike, handsome, and yes, would still bear some of the marks of original fabrication. That's the character of Journe's finish. It's beautiful, but it's also deliberately handmade and designed to look so. You can see this handsome, versatile, and yes, outsized personality on our website.